Hello there, and welcome back to English in Ease. I'm Emily, your guide and friend on this journey to more confident, fluent English. Today, we're diving into something that can completely transform the way you speak: thinking in English. Yes, thinking, not speaking, not listening, but how you think. Because the truth is, fluency starts not on your tongue, but in your mind. If you've ever caught yourself translating from your native language into English before speaking, if you've ever paused mid-sentence trying to remember how to say something, or if you've ever felt that your English sounds a little too slow or unnatural, then this episode is especially for you. I want you to know something right from the start. You're not alone. This is something almost every English learner goes through. And the good news? There is a way forward. Today, I'm going to share with you not just why thinking in English matters, but also how you can actually train your brain to do it, step by step. No stress, no pressure, just progress. Let's begin with a question. Why is it so important to think in English if you want to speak fluently? Well, let me tell you a little story. When I was teaching English in a small international school a few years ago, one of my students, Lena, came to me after class. She said, "Emily, I know the words. I understand the grammar. But when I try to speak, I freeze." Have you ever felt that way? What I told Lena is what I want to tell you now. The problem wasn't her vocabulary. It wasn't her grammar. It was translation. Every time she wanted to say something in English, she first thought in her native language, then tried to find the English words. And by the time she finished that mental translation, the moment had passed, and she'd lost her confidence. It's like trying to drive with the handbrake on. You move, but it's slow, clunky, and exhausting. But when you think in English, that handbrake comes off. Everything becomes smoother. Your sentences start to form more naturally. You sound more confident, even if your grammar isn't perfect yet. This is what we call cognitive fluency, the ability to think quickly and efficiently in a second language. It's not just a speaking skill, it's a thinking skill. And it makes a huge difference in how fast you speak, how clearly you express yourself, and how relaxed you feel when using English. Here's the science behind it. When you translate from your first language, you're using an extra cognitive step. You think, translate, speak. But when you think in English, you skip the middle step. Your brain learns to associate ideas directly with English words and expressions. This is what native speakers do instinctively. It's not just about speed. It's also about accuracy. When you think in English, you build sentence structures in real time, which helps reinforce correct grammar without memorization. You're training your brain to construct language in a way that's both functional and fluent. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Emily, this sounds great in theory, but it's so hard to actually do. And you're right. Thinking in English can feel awkward at first, almost like trying to write with your non-dominant hand. That's because it goes against years, maybe decades, of mental habits. But like any habit, it can be changed. So let's talk about the real challenges English learners face when trying to think in English. First, there's the issue of habitual thinking. Most of us have spent our entire lives thinking in our native language. Trying to rewire that mental pathway takes time. It's like building a new road through the forest. It takes repetition to make the path clear. Second, there's the vocabulary gap. If you don't know the words in English, of course you'll get stuck when trying to form thoughts. This is why building a strong working vocabulary, words you can recall and use, not just recognize, is so important. And we'll talk more about how to do that in the next part of this episode. Third, there's the challenge of confidence. Many of my students have told me, "But Emily, what if I think the sentence wrong?" And I always say, "So what? This is your mind. No one else can hear your thoughts. Thinking in English is your personal practice ground. Mistakes are not only okay, they're part of the process. The fourth challenge is what I call the translation trap. You've been taught for years to translate words. You memorized vocabulary by matching your native language with English, and that method worked at the beginning. But now it's holding you back. It's time to shift from translation to immersion, mental immersion. And finally, there's environmental influence. If you're surrounded all day by your native language, at home, at work, in media, it's hard to make English the language of your thoughts. But I'll share strategies in a bit that'll help you make space for English in your day, even if just a little at a time. Now, I want you to take a moment to reflect. When during your day do you usually switch to English? Only when speaking? Only when studying? What would happen if you added English to your inner thoughts, just a few minutes at a time? In the next part of this episode, I'll guide you through practical, easy-to-follow tips to help you start thinking in English today. These aren't magic tricks. They're real habits you can build step by step, no matter your current level. But before we move on, I want to leave you with one thought. Fluency doesn't begin with perfect sentences. It begins with intention. And choosing to think in English, even a little, even badly at first, is a powerful, courageous step toward mastering the language. All right, are you ready to take that next step with me? Let's do it, together. Welcome back to English in Ease. I'm still here with you, Emily, and now that we've talked about why thinking in English matters and what challenges might be slowing you down, let's move into the part you've probably been waiting for: how to actually start doing it. This section is all about habits. Simple, doable, repeatable actions that you can build into your day to start rewiring your brain. Let's start small, with labeling. Right now, wherever you are, look around you. Pick one object. Say its name in English in your mind. Chair window. Cup. Phone. That's it. That's the beginning. You don't need to speak out loud if you're not comfortable. Just think the word. Now, add a little detail. Blue chair. Tall window. Hot coffee. Black phone. You're already starting to think in phrases instead of words. This simple practice helps create what we call mental associations, a key cognitive process where your brain connects objects directly with the English words for them, not translations, but real associations. You see the chair. You don't think GEE, you think chair. That's a huge shift. Once you've got that down, move on to self-talk. This one's powerful. Talk to yourself in English about what you're doing as you're doing it. For example, I'm brushing my teeth. Now I'm washing my face. I'm going to eat breakfast. I need 2 eggs and some toast. It might sound silly, but it's actually a cognitive workout. You're training your brain to function in English, narrating your real life in real time. And don't worry if your grammar isn't perfect. That's not the goal right now. The goal is to activate your English brain. Now let's level up. Try narrating your day in your head. Imagine you're the storyteller of your own life. As you go through your day, describe what's happening. Like this. I'm walking to the bus stop. The weather is warm today. I see a group of children playing. My bus is late again. When you do this regularly, your mind starts to default to English, even when you're not trying. That's fluency. Not just with words, but with thought patterns. And if you get stuck and can't think of a word, that's not a failure. That's a learning moment. Open a dictionary app or search it online. That act of active retrieval, looking up a word when you really need it, makes it stick far better than just memorizing a list. One of my favorite ways to train thinking is the Q&A method. It's just what it sounds like. You ask yourself simple questions and answer them, in English. This builds internal dialogue, which is exactly what you're aiming for. Try this. What do I need to do today? I need to call my friend and finish my homework. What did I eat for breakfast? I had cereal and coffee. What do I want to watch tonight? Maybe a comedy. I need to laugh today. These little dialogues help you think conversationally, not just academically. And if you want to make it more fun, turn it into a game. Set a timer for 5 minutes, and during that time, challenge yourself to think only in English. No switching, no translation, just 5 minutes. You could focus on what you see, what you feel, what you want to do, anything. At first, it'll feel like mental gymnastics, but the more you do it, the stronger you'll become. Just like a muscle. I remember when I first started learning Spanish, I couldn't hold 5 minutes without flipping back to English. But then it became 10, then 20. And eventually, I caught myself dreaming in Spanish. That's what we call language immersion. Not just outside, but inside your head. So here's your challenge. Create a thinking in English routine. Pick one moment in your day when you're usually alone. Maybe your morning walk, your lunch break, your shower. Use that time to think only in English. Stick to it for a week. Then increase the frequency. This kind of repetition helps build what psychologists call neural pathways. Stronger, faster mental connections in the new language. And guess what? You don't need to be perfect to begin. In fact, imperfection is part of the learning process. Making mistakes in your thoughts is just as valuable as making them in conversation, because your brain is still doing the work. Let's not forget how powerful input is. You can't expect to think in English if you're not feeding your brain English regularly. So surround yourself. Podcasts, movies, songs, audiobooks, articles, even your phone's language settings. Passive input still counts, but active input is even better. That means engaging with what you hear, repeating phrases, guessing what comes next, shadowing the speaker. Speaking of which, let's do a quick shadowing practice together. I'll say a few phrases and I want you to repeat them after me, either out loud or silently in your head. Ready? I am thinking in English. I don't need to be perfect. I am training my brain every day. English is becoming more natural for me. Great job! If you said them with intention, you've just strengthened your mental fluency. Now, before we wrap up today's section, let's talk about one more mindset shift. Stop seeing English as a subject and start seeing it as a mode of being. It's not something you only use in class. It's something you carry with you. Your English identity is something you're building right now, not later, not when you're fluent. Now, even if you can only think 1 or 2 sentences in English today, it's a start. And every day you do that, you're laying the foundation for automatic, confident speaking. In the next part of our episode, I'll walk you through a real-life scenario so you can see how all of this fits together. We'll do a little role play where I guide you through a typical day, and you'll follow along, thinking in English with me. So stay with me. You're doing beautifully. You're not just learning a language, you're building a way of thinking, a new rhythm for your mind, and I'm right here with you, every step of the way. Welcome back to English in Ease. I'm Emily, and we're now in the final part of today's episode, a space where you and I get to put everything into practice. We've already explored why thinking in English matters, and I've walked you through some daily habits to make it a natural part of your routine. Now, I want to take things a step further. In this part, I'm going to guide you through a realistic English thinking session. Think of it as a gentle role play. Just you and me. We'll go through a simple day together, and I'll prompt you to think in English. You don't have to speak out loud unless you want to. The focus is on your inner voice, on building that inner English dialogue. Are you ready? Let's begin with the morning routine. Imagine you're just waking up. Take a deep breath. And now think. It's 7 a.m. I just woke up. I feel a little tired, but I want to start my day. Now think about your next steps. I'm going to brush my teeth and wash my face. I'll make some breakfast, maybe toast and eggs. I'm drinking coffee. It smells good. It wakes me up. You're already practicing daily vocabulary, sentence structure, and describing real moments. These small sentences are forming a new language rhythm in your mind. Let's move on to the commute. Whether that's walking, biking, driving, or just heading to your desk if you work from home. Try this. I'm leaving the house now. The weather is warm. I see people walking their dogs. There's traffic today. I hear horns and engines. I'm thinking about my to-do list. I have a meeting at 10 a.m. Pause for a second. How did that feel? You're creating your own narration, just like in a podcast. You're not memorizing. You're building fluency through awareness. Now, let's fast forward to the afternoon. Maybe you're working or studying. Try forming thoughts like these. I'm checking my emails. I need to respond to 3 people. I'm reading an article. There are some words I don't understand. I'll look them up later. And don't forget reflection. That's also thinking in English. For example, I feel a bit tired. Maybe I need a break. I'll get some water, then I'll finish my task. This type of situational self-talk is an academic strategy that builds what we call cognitive automaticity, which simply means doing something without needing to think about it consciously. Now let's try the evening part of your day. You're home. You're relaxing. Ask yourself, what do I want to eat for dinner? Maybe pasta, or something light. I'll watch a show after dinner. I need something fun to end the day. And then, the most powerful part. Before bed, try to reflect on your day. In English. You don't have to be formal. Just honest. Try this. Today was a good day. I practiced thinking in English. I had some moments where I forgot a word, but that's okay. I'm proud of myself. I'm getting better. See what you did there? That's mindset growth. That's what fluency feels like. Not just speaking well, but thinking clearly in English without fear. And now, I want to give you a tiny but powerful tool. Sentence starters. These help when you're stuck. Keep a few of these in your mental pocket. I feel like, I wonder if, maybe I should. I don't know how to say this, but these are real, flexible, and natural ways to begin inner thoughts. Use them to keep the flow going when you're unsure how to start a sentence in your mind. Let's do a quick mind warm-up challenge, just for fun. I'll give you a prompt. You think your response in English? Ready? Prompt 1. You're at a cafe. What do you want to order? Think it now. Just a simple sentence or 2. Prompt 2. Your friend texts you, asking if you're free this weekend. What do you reply? Got it? Try using time expressions. I'm free on Saturday, or I'm a bit busy, but maybe Sunday. Prompt 3. You just finished watching a movie. What did you think about it? Use adjectives. It was exciting, or the ending surprised me. Practicing these mini internal monologues trains your mind to keep a flow of English running. That's what fluency is. It's not about big words. It's about fluid thoughts. Now, before we close today's session, let me leave you with a few reminders that I wish someone had told me when I was learning my second language. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes your biggest wins happen in silence, in the moments when you choose to think in English, even when it feels clumsy. Mistakes are proof of movement. If you never mess up, it means you're not trying anything new. Fluency is a mindset before it becomes a skill. Start believing that you are someone who thinks in English, and your brain will begin to align with that identity. And finally, I want to challenge you to do something today. Yes, today. Pick a 10-minute window where you will try to think only in English. You can be walking, showering, cooking, or just sitting on your bed. But make it your time to be in English mode. Then, come back and reflect. What was easy? What was hard? What new word did you discover you needed? And if you feel like sharing, leave me a comment or send a message. I read them. I care. You're not just learning, you're becoming a more confident version of yourself. And I'm cheering you on. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share this podcast with a fellow English learner, and leave a review. It helps others find our little community here on English in Ease. We have more episodes coming soon on pronunciation, shadowing, vocabulary growth, and how to keep your motivation high when learning feels slow. But until then, remember, you don't need permission to think in English. You don't need perfection. You just need to start. And you already have. This is Emily, signing off for now. Keep thinking, keep learning, and as always, take it one thought at a time. I'll see you in the next episode. Love.